Welcome to our awesome session that we're having today from PTP. Our topic is streamlining solutions and services via the AWS Marketplace. And joining me today is Ethan Simmons. Ethan, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, John, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. And as always, Ethan, before we get talking about the AWS Marketplace, let's define it. What is the AWS Marketplace?
AWS has built out a online storefront basically where both AWS partners, ISVs, and even some manufacturers now are able to transact business directly with their end users in a way that is streamlined and for most customers, it's a what we're calling a frictionless way of doing commerce, and it transacts right on their AWS bill. So they could go to the marketplace, find an offer that say the PTP has posted, and say, hey, we want to transact with PTP on this. Click the button, interact with us, and for them, no, you don't have to go through a big statement of work process, legal, that type of stuff. All the T's and C's are defined, and when they transact, it shows up on their AWS bill. It's something else you can do, pay over time. So you can do monthly payments, that type of stuff too. So it really helps, ease the way that you can work with your ISVs and your partners that are helping you with your AWS environment.
Ethan, the marketplace was created in 2012. And when it first started out, it had a slow progression. But now, why do so many AWS partners use it or actually prefer with their transactions through the marketplace?
Yeah, I think it has been slow. It's still ramping. I wish it would ramp faster, but I think in general, just the concept of marketplaces. I mean, a lot of the hyperscalers are doing it. It's not just AWS, but um, so I think the adoption is still ramping. People are still getting used to that type of transaction. Um, but I think you know the real the best part about it is that it's a validated place where people have the confidence when they go to the Amazon marketplace or the AWS marketplace. The solutions that are there are from a legitimate partner. Those solutions are validated, and customers are able to transact that way with a probably a better sense of security and comfort level with in interfacing with a customer or with one of their ISVs or one of their partners that way.
Ethan, what type of services or solutions can be listed on the AWS marketplace?
So it runs the gamut from a AWS partner standpoint, like PTP, where we're providing services. All of our professional services offers are out there. So, as an example, if you wanted to do a life science focused control tower deployment or landing zone deployment, you could just go to the marketplace and transact that way with a predefined professional services offer that delivers that aspect of your AWS environment. There's tons of ISVs out there, so software providers, Cisco, Palo Alto, um, Spot, NetApp, Cloud Checker, whatever you name it. Um, you can go out there and interact and procure those services or those software subscriptions through the marketplace.
Why actually purchase or reach out via the marketplace rather than come in directly to a partner or ISV?
Yeah, I think maybe there's two or three different things. I mean, initially, the big play in the marketplace was that if you're in an enterprise pricing agreement or an EDP, um, those purchases that you made in the marketplace um, helped you hit those the EDP requirements you had signed up for. So, if you had a couple $1 million EDP and you had a purchase of some type of software that was on the marketplace, if you purchased that, a percentage of that spend of the marketplace would help you meet your EDP commitment. So that was sort of the first use case that was out there. But I think as it's become more accepted, it's just an easier way to transact. Like I said before, say you wanted to do a larger professional services engagement instead of having to either pay for it up front or have pay for it by milestones. You can set up those same type of payments. But you can say we're going to pay monthly over X amount of time. So it gives the customer and the partner more flexibility in how they interact with their customers.
Ethan, the EDP is basically a commitment from the AWS partner on how much they're going to spend within their AWS account or accounts. And in committing to that, you get a certain discount on some of the AWS services, correct?
Yeah, so it'd be with the AWS customer. So the customer between the customer and AWS.
Okay. Now, Ethan, my next question for you is what are some of the benefits of the PTP clients that leverage the AWS Marketplace offers that you have actually published? You talked about Control Tower, Landing Zone, but what are some of the others?
I think we're up to 14 or 15 now. We just launched an Amazon Q sort of quick start. So if you're interested in sort of getting your feet wet with Gen AI, it's sort of an easy entryway into doing that. We have most of our PTP is very life science specifics are focused. So we have a fair amount of our offers are very tuned into that vertical. But you could do we have partnerships with say like 10x Genomics or um, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that are out there. There's a bunch, but Cloud Checker or Spot, where you can, you know, you could get our services plus the interaction with that ISV as part of that one offer.
Now, Ethan, let's talk a little bit more about the transactions that happen within the AWS Marketplace. Is the acceptance of the AWS Marketplace transactions a new trend in the industry?
It seems to be. I was at recently at the AWS Summit in New York City. There was a big breakout session on marketplace and how that part of the commerce model is flowing, and you know the um, the stats were amazing as far as how much of the AWS business with the ISVs and partners is being transacted on the marketplace. I never would have thought it was that high, but it's definitely growing. So it's been a more, one more accepted. I think people are just used to transacting that way. I think it has to do a little bit with a paradigm shift between who's doing the purchasing. I think sort of traditional IT infrastructure people might not be used to marketplace transactions, where if you were more cloud native and have been working with AWS for years, that motion's a little bit more natural to you. So there's been some roadblocks or some headwinds to greater marketplace transaction, but I think that'll change over time and it'll become more accepted.
Is there a preference that you, as an AWS partner, would prefer transactions through the AWS Marketplace or direct with the customer or client?
um, I mean, there's I would say there's pros and cons, but I mean the pro for us on the marketplace is one, there's you have your offers listed, they're searchable. Customer goes to the marketplace and types, maybe they don't know exactly what, but if they type in, life science partner, our solutions will pop up. Or if they type in, life science security solutions, like most likely our offers will pop up. So for us, it's a better way to get more eyeballs on our solution. So that's worth the investment in creating those offers and managing them on the marketplace. And like I said, from a customer standpoint, I think it's this ease of doing business. It's everything's predefined, T's and C's. You don't have to deal with finance and getting POs cut and all that stuff. So for us, it's trying to make that again making that engagement more frictionless and just allowing the transaction to happen more naturally without um, a lot of impediments to getting business. I think the nature of working in the cloud is agility and speed, so the marketplace lends well to you know to that type of motion.
I was just actually about to say the speed to the transaction, quicker to actually get involved and engage, is that when a customer is looking at purchasing your product or your services, they can go to the AWS Marketplace, they can click on it, you get notified that a new lead came in, you interact directly with them. They've already kind of went through everything and evaluated it, and all they have to do is say, okay, here's your offer. I think saving on the procurement cycle, getting a PO, you've just knocked down not only like 90 days worth of the cycle down into probably a week or two.
Yeah, and it's not like there's no interaction either. So, like you said, when they do, you know, decide they want more information about the offer, we do get notified. We then interact, so it's not a blind,
Yep.
transaction at all. So we would interact with the customer, make sure, and then from there we can more customize and fine tune what they may need. Every customer's situation is different. They may have unique needs, but we can tailor those solutions. And then once it's final, then what we do is we then publish the offer On the marketplace, the customer gets a unique URL. They click on the URL in their AWS portal console, and they would select it, agree to purchase, and then that would initiate the transaction. So it's customizable. It's and then but at the same time, relatively easy to transact.
I think that's a huge value there because when you look at the marketplace and you see the offers, you see what's available to it, and you're like, wow, I don't really need all of that. And I don't think many people know that you can actually customize it. If you click on it and you start generating that conversation with the company and they're like, okay, we'll tweak this for you. We'll give you your own custom URL. You'll be able to then actually accept the offer and get started with everything.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's not just people. That's sometimes I guess the marketplace stuff does have the perception of like I'm going to go click and buy a license and that's what I get. With professional services, it does need to be a little bit more customized. So it has that flexibility. So it works. It works out well. I think especially people that are customers and clients that are used to that type of motion from a purchasing standpoint.
Do some of your existing customers actually go to the marketplace in order to purchase new services or products?
Yeah, a fair amount do. We do find that the majority of the interactions are first-time interactions, so it may be we have like a very specific, well-architected review for life science companies, a specific lens that we've built that you could go and do in the marketplace. So a lot of times that might be our first interaction with a customer, sort of in that trust building stage, something sort of a lightweight offer. We also have an offer for like essay on demand. So if you just wanted to talk to us for an hour, it's no cost on the marketplace, but you can still interact that way, get the introduction set up, pick our brain for an hour, make sure that we're the right partner for you to work with, and then go from there.
Okay, Ethan, I didn't know you could actually put that on the marketplace. I'm looking at all your listings right now. You have Cloud Architect on Demand, which is, a free technical cloud consultant for, 60 minutes of doing it. You could reach out to it. I didn't know you could put those types of offers on the marketplace.
Best kept secret. No, but yeah. So that.
Oops, sorry, we just got it live.
There's hopefully more people will take advantage of it, but it is out there. And again, it's a way for for some customers to sort of a no risk way to do their first transaction on the marketplace, make sure they're comfortable doing it, and it's a great introduction to the PTP team. And hopefully we can add some value in that our conversation. But usually we position it as, hey, this is your time. We'll go as deep or as wide about whatever AWS questions you have or how we can help out, and have that be the first good interaction, and both at the same time from a PTP standpoint, but also from a marketplace standpoint.
Ethan, you have 15 listings on the AWS Marketplace. PTP Life Sciences Cloud Accelerator, the Well-Architected, the Cloud Architect, Cloud Checker CMX, 10x Genomics, Zero to Science, Quilt Jumpstart, MDR Security Deployment, Amazon Q, Cloud Optimization Services, Palo Alto, Managed Cloud Services, Terra Science, AWS Connected Lab Services, Biosciences Connected Cloud Ops. Hey, that's a familiar one. And then Health Omnics Deployment Quick Start. So there's a lot of services you have listed for customers that are looking for the value, things that they need to do, and just to get started.
Yeah, it's a good mix of the offers, but it's the ones that we see repeatedly that we're able to sort of productize and well defined on the marketplace. But so those work well, and then some of them are with other ISV partners, so it helps to have their brand and name recognition as well. But we can facilitate those transactions because there is I don't think we have enough time to get into it. We're up against the time here, but there's a whole other process called consulting private offer, CPPO, where you can actually transact, a purchase of Cloud Checker or a purchase of Palo Alto or Cisco, those licensing and subscriptions as part of our offer on the marketplace. So we can help facilitate those purchases as well. And like we said at the start of the call, if you do have a pricing agreement with Cisco, those do help you meet those commitments as well.
Well, even like you said, we're bumping up against time. So my final question is, let's talk about what does the future of marketplace transactions actually look like?
Yeah, I mean, my view is that it's going to be, more and more of those transactions are going to happen that way. The adoption will increase. There'll be more offers out there. And I think it gives the customers the flexibility to, you know, see the marketplace, compare offers, compare, partners, compare ISVs, but then also, have the comfort level that the transactions are going to, transact smoothly, and they're going to be fast and flexible.
Well, everybody, we got to wrap things up because this is going to be a quick lunch and learn and a 15 minutes to provide you a lot of information around streamlining solutions and services via the AWS marketplace. Joining me today was Ethan Simmons from PTP. Ethan, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem. Thanks, John. Appreciate the time.
All right, everybody, we're out of here.